30 years ago, quite by accident, Sue Meach started wildlife rehabilitating when the local Humane Society asked for her assistance. That request that began Sandy Pines Wildlife Center did not faze her in the least.
I've always rescued cats and dogs wherever I've been. I've always been involved in the local Humane Society. And when I came here, I was helping out at the Humane Society. And one day, one of the ladies said to me, "Do you think you could foster some raccoons?" A raccoon was killed on the road. They found the babies. And I said, "Sure, it can't be any different from cats." So I started. The first year I had 7. The second year I had 15. The third year I had 35. I began to see that this was a trend and there was a need for it.
And that need only grew. Sandy Pines is now admitting more than 6,000 animals a year, from mice to moose and sparrows to bald eagles. As the patients grew, so did the need for staff.
I remember I was at St. Lawrence College giving a talk to the veterinary students, and I met Leah. She came up to me after class and said she really would love to work with wildlife. So I actually hired her. Before that, I did it, my husband and I did it all ourselves.
After graduating from the Registered Veterinary Technologist program at St. Lawrence College, Leah Birmingham became Sandy Pines Wildlife Center's first full-time employee.
I am technically the medical director as a registered vet technologist. That's my background is veterinary medicine. So I am overseeing for our veterinarians the day-to-day healthcare of the patients. People that really excel in this field are naturals at it. I kind of feel that way myself. Like I, find myself teaching people things and I think, nobody taught this to me. Like I learned it because Sue put me in a position where I had to figure it out. They didn't teach me in college, this is how you're going to restrain and hold a raccoon. They taught me how to do it with cats and dogs, and I just took that knowledge and applied it to wildlife. And I think it just was a natural thing for me. It was a natural fit for me.
Their mandate is to help all injured and orphaned wildlife and release them back into the wild. But they also give advice to people all over Eastern Ontario with concerns about wildlife conflicts that they are experiencing.
I am super proud of how much we've grown, how much the awareness has grown. I think the people that we have educated along the way, be it interns, volunteers, we've had an impact.
People are now stopping when they see something hit on the road and they're calling us, and there's somewhere to go now. Before there was nowhere to go, so what could people do but keep on driving? But now people will call us and say, "I just witnessed a deer hit at the side of the road. What can I do?"
Sandy Pines offers education programs from kindergarten to grade 12, helping build connections with wildlife and students. These programs aim to raise awareness of our impact on wild animals and teach our community how to offer kindness and compassion toward them.
The concept is to teach children to empathize and to love wildlife. They're fearful of them and they're unaware of them, and they don't realize that these animals have family members. They have parents that care about them. They have community. They have feelings. They feel fear. They feel injuries. They feel trauma, right? Like they feel all that. So to teach kids to understand that means there's the hope that as they mature in age, that spreads, right? So you're hoping that multiplies and that for future generations are going to do better than we do.
As they are often contacted for support, the center felt basic training was needed for professionals to triage situations and act quickly to get an animal out of distress. Recently, they received a grant to allow the creation of an online course in Kingston and the surrounding region.
There are a lot of people out there, especially that work in different fields, that are on the roads a lot, come across wildlife, don't know necessarily how to help them. Every wild animal that comes in here comes in because some kind-hearted, caring individual has found them, and whether they wanted to or not, have usually been talked through how to capture the animal, and then we try to get it here, whether it's them bringing it or somebody else. So the concept we had was, we need to teach this to people. We need to make them more aware of when an animal is suffering and when it needs help, because there's also situations where people think an animal's suffering and it's not, and they interfere and then they cause problems. So this concept was that we could create a program that we market essentially to businesses that can then have their staff certified, pass the test, get wildlife aware, get their certificates, and that also shows the community that this organization has got a conscientiousness about wildlife and want to contribute to helping them in our areas. I know all over Ontario great work's being done, but I am very proud of the level of care we give here. I'm proud of our ability to make the tough decisions when we have to and not let animals suffer for our own ego.
For WPBS Weekly, I'm Gail Paquette.